Hey guys, this is sagevalentine, and this is my review of NBC Celebrity Apprentice episodes 7 and 8. If you guys weren't following Twitter and you guys didn't watch tonight's episode, just so you know, Shawn Johnson and Lorenzo Lamas were the two celebrities that were fired on tonight's episode. Alright, so I'm basically going to start with episode 7 because that's where Shawn left. And her departure, should I say her firing, made a crap load of people on Twitter, especially her fans, rather irate. But I'm going to tell you guys, in my opinion, why I think Shawn Johnson left. If you haven't already watched my videos, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a refresher if you have. Alrighty, so here we go. The reason why Shawn Johnson was fired was because, in Donald Trump's eyes, she was being lazy. Now, before you get upset, and before you jump on me and you're all upset, listen here. Okay, when Shawn made that comment in the first episode about not being on the side of her team, you know, and how she didn't really believe in the girls, that was a nail in her coffin. Then it was the period thing. Then it seemed like, for the most part, in the different projects, Shawn took a back seat. Now, during this particular episode, they told us, or she told us, I'm just going to, you know, sit back and kind of relax because I should, you know, step up, but I'm not going to step up this time, which my mom translated as she was going to wait until there was a really awesome project and then she was going to jump into it. Unfortunately, she can't. And there are a lot of people blaming Vivica A Fox, saying that it's Vivica A Fox's fault as to why Shawn Johnson went home. You could say that, but the problem is that Shawn did not look like much of a team player to Donald Trump. Shawn looked like a floater. Floating may work on other shows like Big Brother and on Survivor, but on a show like The Apprentice, dealing with the business world, floating is not a good thing. People were talking about how Sig Hansen's floating, but next week he's supposed to be a project manager, and it looks like a whole batch of crazy with that one. Okay. Joan Rivers appears in this particular episode, right? Joan is like the advisor to Donald Trump, and it's bittersweet, and I was a little teary-eyed, and I was like, oh, Joan. It was very cute how at the end of the double episode, they had the whole tribute to Joan. I think that was pretty awesome. Okay, the project basically was working with Ivanka's shoe line. Ivanka Trump, she has a shoe line in Nordstrom's and working with Nordstrom's. They had to have this like mobile pop-up like boutique type thing to promote these shoes. And the two project managers, or should I say the two people who stepped up, was Kenya, because as I've been saying, I've been waiting for Kenya to become project manager, and Vivica had to do it again. Why did Vivica have to do it again? Because Shawn did not step up, and no one else was stepping up, so Vivica was like, screw this, I'll step up. And in doing so, Shawn had a lot of ideas. Vivica incorporated those ideas. However, I'm assuming that Vivica thought that perhaps the space they were using was going to be like a, what do they call it, a big, huge, like, truck canister thingy. You know what I'm trying to say. And I don't think it's a canister, but you get, you know, oh, God, what's the name of it? Like the trailer on the truck, basically. And it wasn't. It was just like a little tiny, like, sprint van, or sprinter van. One of those Mercedes-Benz sprinter little van. And Vivica realized we can't do what we were going to do with the couches and everything and this big grandiose thing. We're going to have to cut it down. So when Geraldo called Kate and Shawn, who were out with Sig, and they were shopping, which, funny how Kate always ends up shopping. I don't know what that is about. I'm sure she says that she's doing what she's told. However, it's not flying at all that she's the same person shopping over and over again. But I digress. So once Vivica told them, listen, we can't do this. We're going to have to switch it up. Shawn and Kate got an attitude. I understand they were stressed out. They were frustrated. The thing that was the most upsetting was the fact that when they returned from that shopping trip, all of a sudden Kate and Shawn checked out. Meanwhile, you have Kenya's group and they're doing this thing with the chandelier and all this stuff, taking pictures of shoes and the baby grand piano and all this stuff. Vivica's dealing with the coffee shop idea that Geraldo Rivera had, as well as the fact that both Kate and Shawn checked out, which to me doesn't look that great. So, of course, Vivica didn't win because, number one, she had to change the idea. Number two, those two checked out. And then we find out later that Kate, for whatever reason, noticed that something was off about the presentation but said absolutely nothing. So, in the end, Miss Shawn ended up being the one going home. When Shawn didn't fight for herself, and then when Donald Trump basically learned from her own mouth that she could have stepped up and she had good ideas, that's when I knew, yeah, Shawn, you're getting fired. And as far as episode 8 goes, because I'm just going to skip right through it, I'm not going to keep you guys too long. Basically, the groups had to come up with a viral video for Chock full of Nuts, and Lorenzo stepped up for Vortex and Lisa stepped up for Infinity. Now, Infinity decided to go the more controversial route with the girls fighting, and then, like, from a guy's perspective, they see them kind of rolling in bed, but they still kind of incorporated the coffee, but they didn't incorporate the coffee. And then you have on Vortex side, they're trying to play it safe, and do this 1950s thing, and then Geraldo and this hip-hop dance thing, which I thought was funny because first he wanted to rap, but it's too funny. And in the end, before I get to in the end, it ended up being Kate versus Vivica because Kate's still upset that she believes that Vivica is the reason why Shawn went home, and Vivica should be the one that's home. And then on the Infinity side, it's Brandy versus Kenya because, again, there's still that tension and it's not going away anytime soon. However, what blew me away about this episode was when Ian Ziering went off when people were trying to, you know, give him pointers about editing the film or the viral video. In fact, he kind of, you know, took over all of the recording as it was because he had been a director, I think, for 20 years and everything. And he really wasn't listening to anybody's input. And it was just like the way that he kind of snapped. And I said, wow. I was like, wow, okay, just let Ian do what he has to, or Ian do what Ian has to do. So in the end, Lisa Gibbons' team won despite what happened with Ian and the blow up. And Lorenzo Lamas ended up taking the blame for his team losing, and he went home, or he was fired. I mean, he could have, like, you know, dragged in, say, Geraldo and Sig, or Geraldo and Kate, or some people wanted him to bring in Vivica and Kate, but he decided not to do it. Again, he's another celebrity that I've seen so far. I guess they retired and they were ready to go. Even though he said he wasn't ready to go, it seemed like he was about ready to go. Alrighty, guys. So, what did I think about this episode? There's a lot of tension, and next week's episode is going to be even worse because Sig is going off. Brandy and Kenya are like hitting below the belt, and Kenya basically started it during episode 8 when she mentioned Eddie Cibrian to Brandy and the whole Leanne Rimes thing, which is pretty touchy. But if you watch Housewives of Atlanta, you're already used to it. If you don't, it's about time that you tune into the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and then you'll truly see how it is that Kenya interacts with the other housewives on the show. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sage Valentine signing off. Don't forget to rate this video, comment, and subscribe to my Branded Crazy. And also share this video, share the love, share it with everybody. Check below for the links. I'm going to do my Sleepy Hollow video later because I have to watch the episode and people were going off on Twitter about that. And I'm going to do a separate video about Sleepy Hollow anyway because there's a lot of changes. I love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.